Okay, cool. Yeah, I do see this meeting is being live streamed notification.
Yeah, it hasn't done it yet. It's you're right. It's redirecting and it's in the process. There we go. We are live.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Okay, now I got to turn it off my computer or we get feedback. So give me a moment here. Hang on 1 second. Okay, I think we're live on YouTube and you now have your meeting. And is there anyone that needs presentation?
I don't believe so. But before, if just in case you have to hop off somewhere, I just wanted to check real quick, Debbie. Any updates on the bulletin boards for the parks yet?
I actually do have one for you. And no, I'm not leaving you so fast tonight. So
Okay, awesome.
actually, Eric did stop in. Eric gets from Parks to introduce us to the new Parks manager. So offline, our phones have been up and down because Spectrum hasn't been working. So hopefully you and I can connect maybe tomorrow,
Sure.
if we can. Um, he wants to talk to you about the partnership. There's one, I think, at Murray Playground as
Yeah,
well that can be live and active
great.
already. There's two that will go up in the spring. So he wants to
Exciting.
talk to you how you want to connect, how you want to activate it, what you want to do. So we have to put a plan in place.
Okay, that
So he
sounds great.
actually mentioned that to me, and he said that you guys haven't connected. So I'd like to connect you guys so that we can check that off our list.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, we've just been sort of waiting, but I'm definitely happy to connect.
So he
So
said
yeah.
he has one right now that he can bring online for you immediately because of the weather. They can't do it until
Yeah.
the spring, but
Okay.
there is one that's already active, that's already in a place that he can have active.
Great. So then yeah, I can touch base with you tomorrow and we can figure out a plan. Thank you.
Well, that's great. So I'm excited for you because you and I worked hard on this
Yeah, really, it's
to
been
make this
our
happen.
years long
Yeah,
pet
right.
project.
It's amazing. It's simple, and yet for the city, it's more complicated. It is
Yeah,
what
yeah.
it is. But I'm
Well, cool.
excited for you, and I'm excited, for the board. It's a nice little accomplishment and something that's important for the community.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for your partnership on that. And it's something
Oh,
that
always. That's what
all
we're
the
here.
community
That's
can see.
what we're here for.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you for that. Okay, so to the millions of people watching us on YouTube, today is Tuesday, December 9th. It is
Hey,
the
Kenny.
Queens Community Board 2 Arts and Culture meeting. So I wanted to take this month's meeting. It's the last one of the calendar year, and I kind of wanted to like focus it a little bit more on our committee work. Um, take some ideas and discussion on what are sort of overarching topics and focus that we want to prioritize for 2026. And yeah, and just kind of like come up with a rough plan between our initiatives that we started discussing this year and any future ones that are coming in the pipeline. Um, and I see Dirk. Hi, Dirk.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Hey, Andre. Hey, Cheryl. All our non-committee folks. Thank you for coming to
How's it
show
going?
up. So actually, while we have you guys, yeah, Dirk, do you want to tell us all the wonderful holiday things happening? Because I know there's a lot happening.
Well, we finished our holiday lighting. The holiday lighting ceremony happened in November, but we have all the lights up. We have one
Beautiful.
set that came down, and right now we're fighting to get it put back up. We're having issues with DOB and the Office of Administrative Trials and Hearings. It used to be attached to the billboard on top of the BLDG property above Cora Bakery, and they're trying to take it down. So they made us take the stream of lights down. So we're working on getting that put back up a little bit further up the block, and it's going to be fun. So that's what's happening with the holiday lighting. We put up a new string of lights on the block with Thalia Spanish Theater. We got 7 merchants to put up the money because we couldn't spend bid assessment dollars on it since it's outside the bid, but it's up and it's happy. It looks good. I'll probably put out a press release sometime next week, hopefully. We're getting ready to announce our calendar for next year. So you'll probably get that in the January meeting. We're combining Asian American heritage with the Sunnyside Night Market and doing that as a massive event like we did with Hispanic Heritage. We're doing Hispanic Heritage again with the night market, and that should be pretty exciting.
Yeah.
And we're going to be doing Sunny Pride with the night market, so that'll even be bigger, the Queer Makers Mart. And then we have one fourth one, so I just got to figure out which one it's going to be or how it's going to work, and I probably sometime in August. Maybe I find some way to tie it into the Bixby Beck concert. We'll see.
Cool.
But yeah, we're getting everything ready. We are going to be doing an MLK event. We're going to be doing a Lunar New Year event. And then the next big event that we have is the Lily Gavin Memorial Women's History Breakfast, which will probably be starting to plan fairly soon.
Yeah,
Um,
because that's March, right?
yeah, I don't have enough hours in the day.
Yeah,
Um,
really. It's
but
your next year is like you're already done with next year.
It's always something at the bid. It's
Yeah,
always fun, but it keeps us busy. And yeah, I'll come back in January with the calendar for the year. And anytime that you know anybody who's interested in performing, we're getting the everything renewed for the Sunnyside Community Cultural Initiative. So all the
great.
dance and the music will be back in Lowry and Bliss Plaza Thursdays, generally around 5 o'clock. And I've been talking with some other foundations, trying to see if I can augment it a little bit. And it looks like we're probably getting our dance stuff done with City Parks Foundation. So hopefully I'll be in touch with Andre and other dance performers to set up the dance classes. But
Oh,
that's
great.
everything.
And then you guys have your
Here, here.
Christmas market at Sunnyside Community Services this
Yes,
weekend.
yes. The next 2 weekends, we're partnering with Judy Zangwell and Monica Guzman with Sunnyside Community Services. We have over 40 vendors. They're all local. It's a lot of the local merchants this time. So it's not just local vendors. It's a lot of local merchants coming to Sunnyside Community Services to make certain that you know what they're doing. And it's going to be really good.
Awesome. Yeah. I think we're also trying to see if Tanya from our community board engagement committee could maybe come
Easily,
and table
easily,
at the holiday
easily.
market to get people going, because um applications for community board opens up January 5th through February 13th, I believe. So this is the time, folks. If we have arts and culture neighbors in our district that would be interested in our huge labor of love of service on this committee and board, please encourage them to apply. We always need more arts representation in our civic duties and all of the happenings that are in our district. And also real quick, and we can talk more about this offline, but I did recently speak to QEDC and also LaGuardia Community College, and there's a huge interest in promoting arts and culture through FIFA World Cup happening next year. So I think that's probably, they're probably going to reach out to the bids in the district.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that would be super awesome. Yeah, and so what we're going to try and do, when I say we, I just kind of mean like us as an arts and culture sector, when World Cup is coming into our neck of the woods, we're going to try and make sure that they include and uplift the programming that's happening in the district. They're sort of thinking of this approach of along the 7 line type of approach, because there's going to be some World Cup, I think, like big screenings happening at USTA. And so we're going to try and make sure that they also promote all of the stuff happening in our district, because everybody has to go through our district along the 7 line to get out there. Funding stuff. For those of you who didn't come to last month's meeting, there is an open grant opportunity right now at Flushing Town Hall. It's due in a couple of weeks. Of course, I don't have that off the top of my head, but I believe that deadline is the 18th of December. So wanted to flag that for folks. That is funding specifically allocated for Queens-based groups and for projects that are happening in Queens. There is also a call for there's like a writer's residency that Lewis Latimer House just released. Let me just try and find that really quickly. And while I find that, Eric, are there any announcements on your end from, like a fundings or opportunities or events standpoint that caught your eye?
Nothing in terms of funding or events, but I thought maybe it would just be worth acknowledging while this meeting is happening, the wonderful grant that MoMA PS1 got, announcing free admission for the next 3 years. That's a big deal and really exciting for the district.
Yes, thank you so much for that reminder. Yeah, that's huge. And we all need to take advantage of that. Show them that the demand is there. I do see. Yeah, oh, I wish MoMA folks came this evening, but yeah, congratulations to them. It's their 50th anniversary next year too, so I think there's probably some exciting stuff happening on their end. I'm having trouble finding this. It's a memoir and autobiographical writing workshop in which folks can apply to be part of it. I'll drop it in the chat once I find it because I think also just wanted to flag. Oh, thank you, Eric. A bill was recently passed in the city council last month that essentially reiterates that housing that is built specifically for artists, so basically affordable artist housing, is not deemed discriminatory. So that is now official and passed. That was co-signed by Council Member Keith Powers. I believe he's Manhattan. I went to the rally and there was our new culture chair was also there. We heard from some key arts organizations, including Indie Space and Dance NYC. So this is very, I think, relevant and timely given, the 1 LIC rezoning that also just officially passed. And just something for our committee to maybe think about and look into for next year, as all this housing is going to be being built, and how we might be able to basically capitalize on that law, and how we can better advocate for affordable artist housing in the 1 LIC plan as sort of like a next phase as projects are coming in the pipeline. So I just wanted to put that out there. I'm looking into folks that we could potentially bring in who can talk and educate us more about what we can do in terms of advocating and leveraging this bill and how that might work in this stage of, well, now that ULURP's over, but in this next stage of development. And let's see. Went over holiday events, went over the funding. There is a call. I can announce it again next month because I think the deadline is not until February. Asian American Arts Alliance has mini grants. That call is currently open for projects that are surrounding Asian American stories and any type of discipline projects. And I think they tend to alternate like in which target neighborhood these projects should be occurring. Sometimes it switches between Flushing and Chinatown, but you don't need to be a resident in either of those areas. I think the programming just has to happen in those areas, and that call still has a little bit of runway to it. Let me just check. Folks who have not been tracking the new administration's Arts and Culture Transition Committee. I'm so sorry, my computer is so slow. There is a tracker out there. I again will share that afterwards if I can find it. But we do have some great allies from Queens that are serving on the Mayor's Transition Committee, including Gonzalo Casals, who is part of, he's the founder of the Arts and Cultural Institute. He's based in Jackson Heights, used to be one of the commissioners for DCLA back in the COVID days. So we have some Queens folks on that committee. Curious if Pia knows anything more about the Arts and Culture Transition Committee by any chance. Are you there, Pia?
Yes, I unfortunately don't know much, but I saw that they have someone from PS1 and we have a lot of Queens-based organizers
Yeah.
in the transition team. And I think in tech as well, some live in our district.
Yeah, so yeah, it's going to be an interesting year. I think it would be great to just keep in touch with those entities, especially since some of the folks that are representing on that committee are from our district. And to maybe just get direct updates from them and how those meetings are going. Of course, on a broader scale, especially since our previous Borough Arts Council was based in our district. It's definitely top of mind to figure out what the future of a Borough Arts Council looks like for Queens, whether or not it's going to be in our district. It needs to, there's obviously a very high need for it to be serving all of the artists that are here. So that's another plan that I would like to see if our committee can do anything about in terms of advocating and uplifting that work. That's it for now, because I also want to get around to our guests in the meeting to talk about their announcements and their concerns and any requests of what work you'd like to see this committee do for 2026 and all of that stuff. So Dirk had kicked us off. Let's go on to Andre. Andre, what's happening at Kukala? Okay, maybe he'll come back. Hey Angel, how are you? Is Angel there from the partnership?
Hi. Yes, I'll put my camera on. There. Hi.
Hi, thanks for joining us.
Of course. Hi, everyone. Yeah, so nothing huge at the partnership, but we have our annual meeting tomorrow at Silver Cup, which everyone is welcome to join us there. I can put the link in the chat here. So that actually I should know the time, but I think it starts at 5:30. And yeah, that'll just be a nice celebration of the year, the past year, and looking forward to next year. A lot of things going on. But yeah, just kind of closing out items for this year. No major announcements yet, but we are starting to plan our Lunar New Year celebration as we do each year. So we're getting that started next week. We have our first info session with businesses to see what different orgs are doing around Lunar New Year this year. So there'll be more to come. Announcements on events and that kind of stuff will come soon as well, but nothing to announce just yet.
Any art projects or RFPs potentially in the pipeline for next year?
Not currently. We are still looking for funding for our past DRI project that we applied to. So we're having conversations on that. So that's sort of our main focus to get funding for that. But no projects in the pipeline just yet. But we do have a little bit of budget to do some smaller projects. So we're starting to brainstorm what we can do for next year on that. So once we know more, of course, we'll send it over to you guys.
Cool. I know it's like something that we've sort of started baking in committee, and I'm going to bring this up again later too, so we can really figure out how to roll out this initiative a little bit more robustly once we get into the warmer months. But we were talking about ways that we could identify locations for murals, and also kind of create murals on different business roll down gates. That's definitely something that we've been noticing in Sunnyside. There may also be opportunity in Long Island City as one way to utilize a small budget, but we're also happy to be a resource of ideas here in committee if you have anything you wanted to run by us like next month or something.
Yeah, for sure. And I can send, we have a sort of internal mapping of sites that either we have semi permission for or people have expressed interest in, and I can send that around. It'd be great to get feedback on that. And then I do want to mention this could potentially affect the roller gates, putting murals on those. So there is a new rule that's coming out, and it's going into effect next July. I can find a link to the information for that. I think it starts July 2026. Sorry, my dog is barking. And it is businesses are going to be required to have to change their roller gates to be it has to be like 50% forgetting the word, but see-through. So the fully solid roller gates are going to be no longer allowed starting in July. So we're trying to get more information. Apparently it's like a 10-year-old rule. This came out years ago, and it got pushed a bunch of times, and it's pretty set that it's going to go into play next year. So trying to figure out what that means, and that the any like existing art projects will have to, change their gates as well. So just wanted to flag that before anything new goes out, but I can send a link to that information.
Wow, yeah, thank you for that update. That's pretty significant. But potentially an opportunity if they want to make their, half see-through gates appealing while they're closed. Okay, just got a message in the chat from Cheryl of Sculpture Center. She's going to come back in and give us her Sculpture Center updates. Shall we go back to Andre? Hey, Andre.
Hey, everybody. How's it going? Yeah, I was also busy with dog. That's why I didn't answer, but I was listening.
That's okay.
Yeah. Cocoa's doing good. We actually, I'll tell Dirk before everyone jumped on that we actually have our next student performers workshop this Saturday. But this time it's going to be hosted at PS 199. So we rented out the auditorium because our group this round is quite large. We actually have 28 students signed up. So they will be performing at PS 99. Doors open at 6 p.m. The showcase will be at 6:30, and we're also going to be bundling it with our kids program. So our little cucalitos will be performing as well. So we're going to see some little kiddies get their little dancing on along with the adults. We're going to have a big combined showcase. And then after that, after the showcase, we're going to have everyone come to our studio for our holiday parties. We'll have our holiday social. DJ will be spinning vinyl. There'll be some coquito and some other things for the December festivities. So come down, check us out.
That's on Saturday.
Yes, this Saturday.
Oh, exciting. Very cool. Well, congratulations and married to your generations of students, and that your students are growing. Amazing. Hey, Ejo and Tess. How's Culture Lab?
We're good. The sound stuff going. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah, so we're in our office working hard. Well, there's Tess. Tess, do you just want to talk about what our last weekend before our break?
Weekend, yes, it's gonna be so fun. Thursday, if any of you on this call have donated $50 to our end of year campaign, you have an invite to our supporter soiree. It's a lovely open bar, food, live band evening at Culture Lab this Thursday evening. So come on out. It'll be really lovely. Otherwise, Friday, we have our free Sunset Jazz at 8 p.m. It's going to be really wonderful. A great excuse to come check out some affordable art with our Off the Wall show and enjoy jazz at the same time, or art then jazz, or jazz and art. Either way, it's going to be great. And then Saturday, we have our Sounds from the Gallery, which is another free concert series in our front gallery where you can come hear the music of Strangely Enough. They're a Grateful Dead cover band, jam band energy. So it's going to be really lovely. You may have seen them out at Culture Lab before. And again, so maybe jazz isn't your thing. Maybe the Grateful Dead is. You can come out, shop for art, for gifts for your loved ones, and listen to some awesome music. On Sunday, we're going to be sending off our season in style. We're going to have Brooklyn Raga Massive, which I don't know if you all know them and their work either. Awesome local musicians. They are going to be going on tour next year. So this is also their kickoff concert from 6 to 8 in the front gallery. It's also our closing night and sending off the affordable holiday art show. So we just have music all weekend long and awesome art. We've sold like over 100 pieces of art that goes directly in the pockets of the artists. So if you also want to make an artist holiday and buy some art to support them and get your shopping done, come out.
Sold.
Oh, and one more thing. I'm so sorry, team. We have our Emergence Artist Residency. It's a performing arts-based residency. So if what you do, it could be hybrid, tech, dance, theater, whatever it is. If it's performed and it's performed live, this residency is now open for submissions. That will go until I think it's January 4th. So you have some time, but it's a wonderful year-long residency. Artists have 9 months to create a new piece of work that then's born in our New Works Festival, which happens in November and December. So we just closed that out last weekend. We have everything from puppetry to dance to new musicals to hybrid tech theater pieces. So it's a really fun residency program. So if that's something that's interesting to you, you should submit.
Yeah, I just put the link for that.
you.
It really should be in the chat. That should be shared far and wide amongst any performing artists. And really, it's been impressive to see what the artists can do when they're given 10 months in the space to develop something brand new. It's a really strong program.
And Edra, you want to talk about the awesome fine art opportunity that's live right now too? Rudy?
Oh, okay, so we will be hosting a LIC focused art exhibition for both late and current artists. So as long as you either worked or lived in LIC, and this will be some of our late artists. So Chuck Baker, Sharon Taylor, Tony Vaccaro. We're asking for people to submit works of art from people who have helped make LIC what it is today. Kenny Greenberg has somehow been convinced to be on the curatorial team with Tess, so thank you, Kenny. And it really is about finding out and remembering there were people here before us and what did they do. So we really want to make it a look back on what has happened with what's happened in LIC. So the open call, let me put the link in. The open call, I'm putting the link in right now.
That one you have a little bit more time to submit to, friends. That one doesn't end until a little bit further into 2026. Also, you'll notice that there are 2 forms. So there's 2 options. So if you are a practicing LIC-based artist or have a studio in LIC, there's an open call for you to submit yourself and your own work. There's also going to be a nomination form. So if you own an artist's work from LIC and you want to submit it to be included in this art show, that is also an option, and you'll see there's a nomination form as well. So if you own the work and you want to see it included in the show, please submit that. We will be gathering a committee of folks to look through all these submissions.
Yeah, and all that'll be publicly announced.
Yeah.
So the other thing that we're doing, just to completely dominate this time of the gala, is we have started a newsletter that is just for right now, it's 11101, and it is for LIC. I'm going to put it again because it might have gotten buried by my other.
Yeah, just drop it again. But I'm saving the chat.
Okay, good. Well, I just put it again. It's a newsletter. Any organization, Cheryl, if you're still on, this is for you as well. Any organization should be able to sign on. The LIC partnership is helping us with this, so they have access to a lot of the big buildings. The only thing they're asking is each art organization be a member of the LIC partnership. It's worth it. It's going to get your newsletter. It's going to get our newsletter into all these buildings. It's really worth it. Just become a member of the partnership. But for now, please check out we're calling it The Frame. Why not? But we are but to
Get all
not
the approvals.
but to not downplay the performing arts. So the performing arts are highlighted in the image across the top. We have gentlemen brawlers screaming on
Thanks,
stage.
Cass.
So anyway, we think it's going to be a really great service. It's a really great way for us to present a unified front, especially in the rezoning that we are facing. The local politicians have all said that we need to present a unified front, and if we had one newsletter that went out to everyone, that would be a really great starting point as far as I am concerned. If you guys have any questions or comments about the newsletter or about any of the open calls for both performance and fine art over at Culture Lab, just shoot us an email.
So I will also say, as you can see, kind of like this overarching theme of how we are framing arts and culture in Long Island City is really in the context of the rezoning. I think the next 3 years are going to be super critical in making sure that our artists in our sector are very, very visible and that we're really putting our stakes in the ground in terms of, letting it be known and recognized how much we contribute to this neighborhood as a united front. I will also say that in alignment with the LIC Arts Show that Culture Lab is doing in the spring, we're also, sorry, when I say we, Queensboro Dance Festival, along with Culture Lab is, Queensboro Dance Festival is the organization that I run in the district that does like a bunch of dance performances in outdoor public space. But for the past 3 years, we have been in partnership with Culture Lab and the partnership in organizing these arts and real estate events. And so we are planning on timing the arts and real estate event to be during the show that is honoring all of our past and present Long Island City artists, to really bring it home of how comprehensive a sector we are. And, real estate needs to be a part of that support of the sector. So it was going to be a very busy first quarter next year. But super great that we have all of these partners on this call and also part of the plan.
And Carisha, have you already told, it's looking into the future, but the dance battle will also be in April when this art show is open and running. So, the performing arts and local dance group, will be also championed as a part of the LIC rooted community.
April is going to be a very big month.
Yeah.
Great. So who else haven't we? Oh, hi, Isabella. Tell us how Teen Art Salon is doing.
Oh, we're great. I don't have any announcements. I'm here just as a nonprofit leader and concerned, person who lives in the community to make sure I know what's going on and can hear from everybody. But we're in the second year of our fellowship for 10 students from across New York City who are getting pre-professional development in the arts. They're cool as hell. We have a great time together. We might be returning after like a 9-year hiatus to the LIC Arts Open, I'm thinking, because they've been making a lot of stuff and have had a prolific time. And yeah, just here to make sure that I can hear from other folks what's happening and feel always enriched to know what you're thinking about, Carisha.
Always in community with all of you folks. So thank you for being here. Tons of information that this committee brings to share out to all of our networks. anyone else have any other announcements or complaints, concerns, requests before we start getting a little bit more into some other updates and some of this agenda stuff for 2026? Yeah, no, maybe so. Okay. So I wanted to also give a quick update. I had requested, and we got support from the borough president's office. I wanted to co-host a convening of all the arts and culture committees across all the community boards in Queens. That happened last week. And it was very interesting and very informative. There were a little over half, so 8 out of the 14 Queens community boards all had representation at this convening, but really only 2 community boards, which is our board and CB1, have actual dedicated arts and culture committees. A lot of the other boards that were present, cultural affairs tend to fall under consumer affairs in one board, economic development committee, parks and recreation, education. So it's sort of been enveloped in these other committee works, but it was exciting to hear that everyone who was there was really interested in doing more to uplift the arts and artists that are in their respective districts. So I just essentially shared, the work that CB2 has been doing in terms of bylaws and how to form new committees based on your bylaws. And I also brought up the fact that our community board also has a bylaws committee. And how to consult that in terms of if there is any desire to have like a specific arts and culture dedicated committee in their board. We also talked about some collective ways borough-wide to help get more interest from artists to serve on their local community board. So there were some ideas being tossed around. I mean, for sure, we want to have another borough-wide meeting. We just have to coordinate that with the borough president's office, and we're also still waiting to release the final notes, because it was the community board office at Borough Hall that was taking notes, and all correspondence is going through the borough president's office. But there was definitely interest in wanting to do it again. There was some talks about potentially having some sort of like event at Borough Hall where us as Queens community boards would just go out and try and invite artists to just come, kind of like find your district and network with not only people in your district, but people who are also artists in other districts. So very much a community board as lens of connecting with other artists. And I know that there's lots of iterations of this, like Flushing Town Hall hosts meetups, and even within our district itself, there's a bunch of meetups for artists, but towards the goal of wanting to get artists more interested in doing this type of voluntary work and how to kind of leverage the vocal power of community boards was really the end goal. I also wanted to share with you guys some of the common requests that we were hearing from other community boards in terms of arts and culture support. Loud and clear, we've all been asking for more public art, like more spaces to do public art and more mechanisms to get funding for public art. Along with public art spaces is just like straight up space, just like space to rehearse, space to gather, which again, the rezoning, it becomes again like a super important thing that we need to stay on top of for that. Figuring out how getting artists to become city vendors was also something that came up. And again, these are all things that the community board office at Borough Hall was taking notes on, because this is also a signal to them, like what type of city agencies that they can come help and connect us to. More support and infrastructure for open streets so that artists can better activate open streets on their own. They also requested more arts and culture resources for district managers so that if any calls come into any respective office, they would know how to provide information or resources in that way. And then, yeah, just more liaising with city agencies who specifically have art programs. So we know, Parks has their art program, Material for the Arts, DOT, things like that. So very much similar to the needs that we constantly talk about in our community board. So it was really reassuring to know that this is something that is of interest borough-wide. And I know this came up at the full board meeting last week, but also super interesting that every board has budgets that are spent in different ways, and some boards have budget that would be specific to arts and cultural events. But then you kind of have to like figure out where does that line item come from, and every board has a particular process in budgeting and things like that, as we know, because Michael walked us through that last week. But yeah, just wanted to share that out. For sure, wanting to do another one. We're just kind of waiting for feedback from the borough president's office, and hoping that just by some word of mouth, especially coming from borough president's office, when they release the notes for this stuff, that will get a little bit of higher interest for this upcoming cycle of community board applications. Any questions, comments, feedback on that?
Like, how am I going? I imagine he would cut it up.
Joe, you unmuted yourself?
Is Isabella still on? Isabella, Tess Howsam wants to reach out to you. Just check your chat.
Sweet.
Carisha, I had a question. Did the subject of film and television come up at all in the conversation?
It did not. That's a great point.
I thought I saw when I was looking at other boards that, and maybe I'm confusing it with Manhattan, but there was one, at least maybe it's CB1 or some other board has a film and television committee or something related to that. And I'm just wondering, especially now that we have the East End studios, and there's more film production happening in Queens, that whether that's something that's folks are thinking and organizing about.
Yeah, that didn't come up with the boards that were present at that meeting. But there were definitely some key districts that definitely had like CIGs in their area and potentially film locations and stuff that maybe would have come up if they were there. And to be honest, I was so focused on fielding everybody else's district that I forgot to talk about like the amount of film and TV that happens in our own district. But what we were also trying to do is send out to the community boards that were present, and maybe I can ask the borough president's office what they think if we did all the community boards, even the ones that weren't at the meeting, just to put out just a quick list of some key arts and cultural institutions and spaces in each district, because it also turned out that some of the community boards weren't even really sure what institutions that they had in their area, because there is a gap of connection between the artists in their area and the activity of their community board. We talked about CIGs because a lot of them didn't know what CIGs were, and we talked a little bit about how the funding streams works from city and state for Queens. which meant we were talking about, Flushing Town Hall as a service organization and NYFA as another service organization, which of course then, begged the question of what's happening with our Borough Arts Council, which Borough President's office is fully aware of that need. So we were kind of just broadly bringing all these boards up to speed as to what happened and what the current state is. We shared the Arts Culture Queens report, which was a Borough President's initiative, of which I was on that steering committee, where we were asked to survey as many artists and organizations as we could and have a couple convenings around that. And all of that data was put into a report that was released. I think it was released last month.
We shared that last month.
Oh, great.
This
Yes.
month, yeah.
Okay, great. So yeah, so then the Borough President's office also made sure that all those community boards received a copy of that, just so they were aware of the work that was happening as a Borough President's initiative, alongside the other mapping projects that are borough-wide, which we talked about at last month's Arts and Culture meeting. So yeah, so that was that. Yeah, hoping that we can get another one on the calendar at Borough President's office in the first quarter, I'm hoping, but we will see what their availability is and all the inauguration stuff happens. So
And they said, so you said the BP's office took notes. So is that something that we'll get to see so we can see who else was there specifically?
oh yeah, absolutely. So that the notes will be compiled. It'll be sent out to all of the attendees at that meeting for sure. And then I will be sharing that with our committee for sure. Yeah, and I'm also wondering if we should just, if they should just go ahead and send it out to all the boards, just so they know that something was happening. So I will follow up with Michael Carlier of the Community Board Office to see where they stand on those notes. Yeah, and then in terms of, the Mural and Gates initiative that we sort of talked about this past year, now that the weather is getting warmer and we do have the contacts from Dirk now, we just need to actually kind of organize that and coordinate literally who can just like go out in the field and talk to these business owners about potentially having a mural on their property, and also on the artist end, figuring out a maybe short list roster of muralists in the district who would be interested in doing that. So if folks are interested in contributing to that work, I will make sure to reach out to everyone and kind of figure out who'd like to do what. I know Pia just dropped off the call, but I know that she did express interest in wanting to do more project stuff like that. Oh, here's Pia. Hey, Pia. We got the update from the Parks Bulletin boards from Debbie, so that's great. And then I kind of wanted to talk to you guys about ways that our committee could do more member outreach and cultivation. Do folks have any holiday events coming up? I mean, I know Culture Lab has a ton of them, but in your own respective networks, or maybe folks in your circles that you could think might be interested in doing this type of work and joining a board, or even starting to just come to board meetings or committee meetings to just kind of see that the work that we're doing in our district. Yeah, so I just wanted to put that out there, that maybe this is something we should start thinking about, even if it's like, have 3 individuals in mind to start talking to them now, or if you're going to a holiday meeting, or you're going to a holiday party, or you're going to something at Culture Lab and you meet somebody that's from your district. I mean, there's a ton of artists here, so it's really just a matter of trying to get folks to come and be
have somebody walk in
part
and be like,
of
this is the exhibit, and then we
the
also have like
community
music
board.
exhibit, and then we also have this tomorrow. It's like some people are like,
So yeah,
whoa, wow.
any feedback on that? Like, do
Engage.
folks have any concerns,
Also-
or have you heard feedback from artists, like what the challenges might be to get them to join, besides the fact that they may not know who we are? But
Well, Carisha, can we do, because we have the cultural map from One LIC, can we just wouldn't that be the group that we would want to be contacting? If I'm
Yeah.
understanding.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we also want to make sure we're reaching out to Sunnyside and our slice of Maspeth and Woodside, because there are a lot of artists there as well. So we don't want to be too LIC heavy, as you know, as we already are. But yeah, that's definitely a start. But that's also a good point. Like maybe we should also be doing some focused outreach to Woodside and Maspeth and Sunnyside.
Yeah, I mean, even if they don't join the board, and I feel like we say this every meeting, they should be coming to these meetings.
Yeah, that is true. I always, yeah, we've had like, and this, you know, this was a list that has been in this committee before me. And I think maybe it was like when Kenny was chairing and you guys had compiled that list, and we've been trying to update it and add to it. But maybe we should do a more specific call, like, hey, come to the board and learn about
Invitation to our supporter soiree.
But yeah. Yeah, and then any other suggestions, feedback from y'all? It's been another 12 months. I've been super honored and energized to be chairing this committee with you all. There's been a lot of action, but would love your feedback and thoughts on, you know, things that you think our committee can focus on for 2026, besides One LIC stuff. But yeah, just want to keep making this
committee so we might get
strong
2 emails.
and
Phone call from
accurate in
Tess.
terms of our voice.
Whoopsie.
Yeah,
I'm assigning Hans to you, Don.
I just want to say thank you to you, Carisha. So the other people in the meeting might not know all the other work that she is doing for the district in arts and culture. So that means going to all the meetings, testifying at City Hall, you know, organizing rallies. So we're thankful to you, if I may speak for everyone, for being the tip of the spear for so many of these initiatives. And, you know, not alone, you know, Eric, you know, so many important people are helping out. So thank you for keeping this engine running.
Well said.
No, I appreciate that. And, you know, we're only as strong as we are showing up together. So it means a lot that people are showing up and sort of like recognizing and validating the work of this committee. And, you know, I definitely am following Kenny's footsteps. So, you know, thank you to Kenny for showing us the way and how important this is. And yeah, so have to definitely.
If Kenny set the path, then we're all in trouble.
I thought I was following you.
Great. So we're all moving in a circle. Perfect. Yeah, but you know, and if anything comes up, and I know like, I think too, something that Eric has been bringing up all year long too is the important aspect of historical preservation, the historic preservation aspect of arts and culture in our district. Oh yeah, speaking of, are there any updates, Eric, on the historic district councils and the survey and the program for Sunnyside?
They've had a change in staffing, so I think that's delayed getting us a report on what they've gathered from the survey thus far. But and this isn't really surprising, but there hasn't been like a large number of responses to the survey. So I'm hoping that we might be able to reconnect with them in January and talk about if there's any other ways that we might be able to gather information that might be useful. And I wonder if one of the things that we do is use the model of success that we had, you know, kind of mapping people who are in the district in like Sunnyside, kind of doing a similar Google map and kind of at the grassroots level, identifying folks who are in the community who we could engage and ask questions of, and kind of do a little more qualitative information gathering as opposed to just relying on a survey. But I don't know, you know, kind of what sort of information that's gathered, if it's anything outside of what we already knew in terms of architectural things on the north side of the district, but hopefully we can get more information from them in January.
Okay, yeah. Is there a deadline that they were hoping to get? Like how long do we have to get survey responses?
Well, I think they were planning to close it in January, so end of
Ugh.
January.
Okay.
But
Maybe they
that
can give
doesn't,
us.
yeah, maybe they can give us more time. I mean, I don't think that's, they haven't been promoting like a reply by date, so.
Okay. Yeah, because maybe what we can do this month too is flag it for land use committee, and maybe there's some folks on land use that can help push that out. And then we can maybe circle back with HDC and ask them to extend it, or maybe help with some support on the ground in getting the word out. I can see how it's a hard thing for people to care about in filling out. And also maybe Dirk can also help out with that too. I'm gonna make a note.
We've gone through Sunnyside Shines.
Oh,
We
okay.
went through Woodside on the Move.
Okay.
I went through Laura Heim, the architect,
Uh-huh.
and then so she has a distribution list. A bunch of other channels that, remember, I reached out to Michael
Yes.
to find out the channels he used for the budget survey. So
Okay. Okay. Maybe at the end of the day, it's also just worth pinging everybody again once the holiday craze is over. Kind of like last call. Yeah, Ejo.
Isabella put a link in the chat that I need to be more aware of, and it's the Flushing Town Hall Cultural Map of Queens. You know, I think they put a lot of resources and effort into that. So if we want to look at that, it might be a good indication of some of the other arts organizations in the area that we were talking about that we might want to connect with.
Yeah, they actually presented last month at committee.
Oh, that's right.
And we
Sorry.
contributed our LIC arts and culture map to them because we had seen that, hey, you're missing a lot of organizations.
Right.
But they were filling in that map from an interview standpoint, like folks that they had interviewed. So we were just offering what we had researched. Yeah, but thank you.
Yeah.
I know, Carisha, for that they also interviewed like a lot of individual artists, and I know they haven't released the report, but I've seen a preview of it, and the preview does divide by neighborhood, but they haven't put that up on the website. So
yeah, I think they only released, well, that's also what they shared with us at committee last month. They released their executive summary, which was actually like kind of reassuring that we're all seeing, with all of these different surveys of Queens arts, we're all seeing the same needs. It's pretty consistent, so that I think strengthens our argument as to what investments need to come into Queens. There's so much coming into the borough right now that, again, it becomes really important. We can do a lot of work within this committee to make sure that all these investments coming into Queens, between the casino and the soccer stadium and World Cup and housing, like we've got to get supported along the way. So that's generally where I'm standing. So I think with that, if there's no other thoughts, feedback, I think like we just should continue. I've taken some notes. I think it is a good idea to take a closer look at the entities in Woodside, Sunnyside, and our sliver of Maspeth. Figure out who we can encourage to come to committee and just also even apply. Maybe we can make the January meeting a little bit of like a, hey, meet and greet the Arts and Culture Committee, maybe. I don't know how you guys feel. Because the applications will still be open by then. But yeah, so yeah, anything else? I want to say I'm shouting out Kello. Hi, Kello. Thanks for showing up. Are you doing laundry? Look at you. Awesome. Thanks for coming to meeting during laundry. Yeah, if there's nothing else, then folks, I hope to see all of you in person at one of these holiday events or another. Thank you all for a very eventful year. yeah, and hopefully more progress moving the needle for 2026, because maybe things will, I don't know, we'll see. We'll see how things go. Cool. All right. All right, y'all. So hope to see you at the next one. Hope to see you at all your parties. Happy holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays.
Thank you for everything.
Happy holidays.